You think she wants love and loyalty. She craves something completely different. And if you don't give it to her, well, someone else will, brother.
We're going live.
No. We'll do it live.
You're listening to the premier podcast for men who want to not only be better with women, but want to be better men in general. This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host, Paul Bauer.
Welcome to another Monday, gentlemen. Drop a 1 in the chat if you're looking forward to taking on the week. Drop a 2 in the chat if you wish the weekend was a little bit longer. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Paul Bauer, and I help men level up and get better with women. And the funny thing about doing that is it tends to make us better men in all areas of our lives. Did you know that most men think women want affection, safety, and just to be loved? They go all in with comfort, loyalty, and communication, and the women still lose interest. She pulls away. She stops respecting you. She says she needs space. Even though you've done everything right, that's because what she really needs isn't what you've been taught. Today, we're revealing the raw, unfiltered truth about women's real emotional and psychological needs in a relationship and why attraction fades when you ignore them. This isn't about tricks. It's about understanding female nature and finally becoming the man who doesn't get left behind. Now, before we get into it, guys, do be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And do sound off in the live chat today. I would appreciate it. I forgot to go live on TikTok right now. It's just not something I normally do. You know what I mean? It's like, I do it, but only on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays. And I've only been doing that for a little while, and I don't know if it's doing any good. And we'll just screw it today. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. But guys, do sound off in the live chat. I would appreciate that. And then, guys, if you find value in any of these episodes, please consider sending a super chat. That supports the show probably more than anything else. The StreamYard thing costs money, all this kind of stuff. It's not free. It's free for you, but it's not free for me. It actually takes a lot of effort to run this podcast. All right, guys. So let's talk about it. What she really responds to. Now, here's the thing. There's things that women say they want. There's things that women think they want. And then there's things that women actually respond to. And Red Pill is largely only concerned about what women respond to. That's why whenever we put out videos like this, I'm sure women are going to come. They're going to listen to this. They're going to say, that's not true. I want all those sweet things that we say we want. And they'll argue with me in the comments, and they'll be like, okay, fine. You say that. But when you observe this kind of stuff, as a man, you try to be the guy. You've tried to be the guy that women say they want. And what happens? You end up in the friend zone, don't you? Yeah, because women are utterly incapable of talking about what turns them on in a man, right? Like what makes a guy sexually attractive. Whenever you ask a woman, hey, what do you want? It's always the beta comfort stuff. So what do 97% of guys do? They lead with the beta comfort stuff thinking, well, that's what she says she wants, right? But she's getting her back blown out by a guy with a throat tattoo who's dangerous in the Waffle House parking lot, right? It's not what it's not that she does want those things, but that's not what makes her sexually attracted, right? So you got to understand that attraction is not a choice. You're into what you're into, right? You're into what you're into. Love is a choice. Love is a choice you have to make every day, but attraction, that's not a choice, right? It's visceral. You can't logic her into wanting you. Women are biologically wired to respond to strength, dominance, and emotional leadership, not affection for affection's sake, right? And what do most guys end up doing when it comes to affection for affection's sake? It ends up being a covert contract, right? I was just commenting on people's posts in a dead bedroom forum on Facebook. And I've been doing that a lot lately. I'll go in there, some guy makes a post, and I'll just reply to the post, try to add massive value. And this one guy was talking about how every night, he tries to be nice. He tries to, ask his wife what's bothering her. He tries to talk to her and communicate, and he gives her foot rubs every night, but every night she sleeps in a different bedroom. Because all that kind of stuff, what he's doing is a covert contract. He's doing something to get something, and then he's resentful that he's not getting it. You understand? It's because like women can sniff this out. They can sniff when you're not being genuine. Like you're doing the foot rub thing to try to get something from her, not because you genuinely like giving foot rubs, right? There's a reason why she's not sleeping with you. She's not attracted to you anymore. You're not being an attractive guy. You're not leading that interaction. Another guy in the forum was saying, is it wrong to ask for segs? We're not at the 8-minute mark. Is it wrong to ask for segs? And I said, it's not wrong to ask for it, but you are in the wrong frame. You're in the wrong mental frame. Because if you have the mental frame that you are an attractive guy, you're setting the tone, you're leading, you're the dominant one in the relationship, you are actively seducing her, you're doing all the things that make her attracted to you. You don't have to ask for it. She wants it. You understand? So let's talk about the hypergamy situation, right? So a big factor in relationships and what women really want comes down to hypergamy, women's sexual strategy. And that's all hypergamy is. It's not this evil thing. It's not this mystical thing that started with modern women. It's been there for thousands of years. It's women's evolutionary sexual strategy. Okay. She's instinctively scanning for the highest value man available to her. Right? This doesn't mean she's shallow. It means she's strategic with her biology. And she has to be, because women have more of a biological cost of getting pregnant than men do. Right? Men have millions of seeds. We can impregnate 1 million chicks in a day if we want, right? A woman can only get pregnant once, and then she's out of commission for 9 months, and now she also has to take care of this offspring for the next 18 years. All right. Well, men have to take care of them too. I mean, let's say you're a passport bro and you fly to another country and you knock up a chick in another country and you fly home to the States and you don't even know that baby exists. No, you don't. No, you don't have to take care of it. Okay. But she does. So it behooves women to be more selective when it comes to who they're going to mate with. And that's all hypergamy is. She's trying to find her best possible option and consolidate on a guy that's not only going to have the best genetics for her offspring so that they're stronger and have more of a chance of survival, but she's also looking for a guy that's going to stick around and help her raise this thing, right? So that's where the alpha, we're past the 8-minute mark, alpha fucks, beta bucks comes in, right? Because the alpha fucks is the strong DNA, this baby's going to have a good chance of survival because his father's got strong genes, right? And then beta bucks is he going to help me raise this kid, right? She does want both. Okay. Now in the red pill space, there's a overemphasis on the alpha side of hypergamy. And I even will say in a long-term relationship, it's about an 80-20 split. You want 80% alpha and 20% beta because you don't want to end up in a dead bedroom, right? Which leads us into the next thing. Comfort does not equal desire, right? The more safe and emotionally equal you become, the more she might appreciate you, but desire stops, okay? That's what happens when guys go too far to the beta side of hypergamy. They start optimizing on being a great dad. They start optimizing on happy wife, happy life. Let's do everything that mom wants to do. Let's not rock the boat. Mom's in a bad mood today, right? Let's try to make mom happy at all costs. Let's give her foot rubs, right? So she might appreciate that stuff, but it's not exactly blowing her skirt up. She's not sexually attracted. Okay. Women need tension. They need mystery. They need polarity. They need that in order to have that genuine desire. And you have to keep providing that, or desire's going to dry up. You guys, you'll start treating her like your best friend, and you'll end up in the friend zone in your own relationship. Okay. Women also tend to test us a lot, don't they? They test us a lot. I talk about that a lot on the podcast because it's once a guy can understand how shit tests work, everything with women becomes easy. Because you stop taking what she says so seriously. You start having fun with it. That's the big key with shit tests. Most guys are so adamant about hating shit tests, and they start building up this resistance for it. And instead of learning how to deal with shit tests and like what they really are and how it's not an attack on your ego, it becomes so much easier, and life becomes easier, and relationships become effortless. But most guys are resisting it so much, and they look at it like it's disrespect, and they're constantly fighting it, and they suck with women, right? But the thing is that shit tests and the way women test you, they're not meant to be games, right? Shit tests are subconscious survival tools. They're subconscious survival tools. She's checking to see if you're the same strong man that she fell for, if you're being congruent, if your words match your actions, or if all this sweet talking game you've been spitting for the last 6 months to a year, if that's all just bullshit and you've just been saying all this stuff to get in her pants, right? She's got to test you to see if you're real or not, right? Or over time, if you've gone soft. She wants you to stay that strong, dominant, masculine, assertive guy, that decisive guy through the whole relationship. And a lot of guys will start off that way, but then over time, they become weak around her and they fall into complacency or whatever. Man, I just had a really long conversation with Wraith D'Antwerp from Dragon Ship yesterday. If you guys didn't know, Rolo talked about it on his live stream yesterday a little bit. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Thor got some really bad news on Thursday or Friday, that his cancer has come back with a vengeance. In the last 6 weeks, the tumor's grown back so big and so fast that his doctors are now saying it's inoperable. And the cancer treatments aren't working, and so they're basically referring Thor to hospice at this point. It's pretty bad news. And so on Friday, Glenn Lawrence and I were talking, because if you guys didn't know, Glenn Lawrence has literally been living with Thor for the last month and a half, 2 months, taking care of Thor and Missy, because Thor and Missy can't take care of themselves. And Glenn Lawrence stepped up for that. And it's commendable what he's done. And he's taken on a tremendous load, a tremendous strain. He's dealing with a lot. Thor, bless his heart, doesn't know what he's saying half the time. He's lost his patience. He has a different view of reality than everyone else. And there's times where, like, Glenn will go use the restroom for 15 minutes and Thor feels like Glenn's abandoned him. And so then he starts calling people and tells people that kind of stuff, and it's not even his fault. He can't control it. Right. So anyway, Glenn and I were talking about the future of Dragon Ship and the Dragons membership. And Thor had originally talked to Huds and I about possibly taking that on. Huds and I both were like, if we took it over, we would probably end up folding it into our own respective brands. That's probably what we would have done, and it's just because we've got so much that we're working on already, that taking on Thor's brand as well, it wouldn't make a lot of sense for us. And so, but Glenn has a different view of it. Glenn, being a true student of Thor's, being like probably one of Thor's closest friends. He wanted to do something different. He wanted to keep the Dragons membership as is and have the payments still going to Thor and Missy, and mostly Missy when Thor passes away. And he doesn't want to do Dragon Ship anymore. Instead, he wants to turn it into a monthly pre-record, more like the Trident. I don't know if you guys remember the Trident, but it used to be Glenn, Thor, and Phil Foster. They were doing the Trident, and so I was like, yeah, man, like that actually makes more sense to me. And they would put the Trident behind Gumroad, so it would be for Dragons members only and that sort of thing. And doing that once a month sounded good to me, because honestly, giving up half my Saturday for Rule Zero and Dragon Ships become too much for me. And so when Glenn proposed that, I was like, I think that's a good idea. I think Glenn should take over, and I think it's a good idea. And so, he got Thor on the phone, and Thor and Glenn and I all talked about it, and that's what we came up with. And so that was Friday night. Saturday, Dragon Ship happened. I think Huds was hosting, and Thor came on, about 30 minutes into it. And if you go back and watch that, you'll get a good idea of where Thor's at. Like he was talking over people. He was not on subject. He was, he would say something and then it would be completely off topic, or maybe it would be on topic. And then like 5 minutes later, he would go back to like a previous topic. It was all over the place. Near the end, when they asked, they go around the horn to have people share what's going on. Wraith was supposed to share where people could find him online, find his books, and Thor interrupted and just started talking. And it's like, he can't even control it. It's unfortunate, but I guess after the recording, Glenn and Thor and the guys were talking, and Thor actually handed Glenn his cut. We all have our motorcycle jackets or motorcycle cuts with the Dragons patches and stuff like that. And he handed Glenn his cut and said, Glenn's in charge now. All right. It was an official passing of the torch. Well, Huds isn't that, Huds doesn't like it. And so Huds is thinking about doing his own panel show of some kind or whatever. He's going to flesh that out. And Thor's brother, Vidar, doesn't like it. And Vidar wants to keep the Dragon Ship going. And I just said, you guys are welcome to it, but I'm bowing out. And so I bowed out of the Dragon Ship. So you won't be seeing that on the channel any longer. You might start seeing more of the Trident stuff once a month with Glenn and I, and whoever Glenn pulls into that. But yeah, it's a really unfortunate situation. And I'm not sure where I'm going with that, but I thought I would bring that up and just let you guys know what was going on there. I think we were talking about why women test and all that kind of stuff. And then I thought I would, just let you guys know about what's going on with the Dragon Ship. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on here. Guys, do be sure to follow me on social media. The links are in the description. I'm on all the good platforms for that. Get on the email list.comeonmanpod.com. Get my ebook, She's Made You Weak. It talks about the betaization process and why attraction tends to die over time in a long-term relationship. And then once you're ready, get the full book, Get Her to Fuck You Again. It's available on Amazon, Audible. Go to books.comeonmanpod.com for that. And let me play a commercial for that, and then we'll get back to the topic today.
Are you tired of the dead bedroom? Wondering what happened to the passion, the connection, and the spark? Well, here's your answer. Introducing Get Her to Fuck You Again, a red pill guide to fix a dead bedroom, now on Amazon. This isn't about manipulation or tricks. It's about real strategies that work. If your wife has stopped being intimate with you, it's not because the love is gone. It's because the attraction is gone. And that's fixable. This book will teach you the skills to lead your marriage, rebuild your confidence, and become the man she can't stop thinking about. 3 reasons to get this book. 1. It breaks the cycle. You'll learn how to stop doing the same things that are killing her attraction and start doing the things that reignite it. 2. It's practical and proven. With clear, actionable steps, you'll build yourself into the man you were always meant to be. 3. It works for men like you. Paul Bauer has helped hundreds of men just like you fix their dead bedrooms. And now, it's your turn. Don't let another day go by feeling frustrated and disconnected. Go to Amazon right now and buy Get Her to Fuck You Again. Read it, apply it, and watch your marriage transform. The connection isn't gone forever. You just need the roadmap to get it back. And this book is it.
The link's in the description for that, guys. I just remembered what it was that where I was going off with that tangent. Before I get that though, Alex Enfield, what's up, brother? This guy actually lives out in the cow pasture with me, guys. Dottie says, if it makes men feel better, women shit test their girlfriends in a platonic relationships too. Erkin, why does Thor decline chemotherapy? Viking dad says he knows it's the end. Thor doesn't think it's the end. And Thor's been fighting this really hard, and I fully believe, and Thor does too, right? The power of the mind to heal the body. That only works though if you're in control of your own mind. You know what I mean? And I don't think Thor's got that control anymore, unfortunately. Do doctors say chemo will not make it? Yeah, that's exactly what they're saying, Erkin. That's why they're referring him to hospice. That's why doctors refer people to hospice, because they've done everything they can. Now I remember where I was going with that. So I was talking with Wraith, and Wraith and I talked for like 2 hours or something like that. But he told me a story of one of his military buddies who, no matter what Wraith told him, this guy was like, yeah, but I love her, But this guy ended up in a miserable relationship. He ended up losing 2 testicles, long story. And the thing is that he had a lot of pain from this relationship. This lady put him through a lot of pain, but the guy wouldn't overlook the fact that he was so madly in love with her. But he basically became so beta-tized as she walked all over him and stuff like that. And that's what happens if a woman tests you and you keep failing, she'll end up walking all over you, lose all respect, and you'll lose 2 testicles over it. There's more to it than that. That's for another time. All right, so let's talk about the masculine frame that she wants. Frame is king. Frame is everything. That's why it's Iron Rule of Tomasi #1. That's why I have a dedicated show every Friday for frame. If you guys want to work on your mental frame, tune in on Fridays for sure, right? But your internal world must lead. If you collapse into her emotional roller coaster, you lose leadership and attraction. She wants a guy who's centered, unshakable. Her emotions don't impact him. She can be, up and down. Women can be up 1 minute, 5 minutes later, be completely down. It's because of how much estrogen is running through their body that puts them on this weird emotional roller coaster that they can't control. And they don't want you climbing on that emotional roller coaster with them. They need you to be the rock. It doesn't work the other way around. She can't be your rock. If you start coming to her with all your emotional bullshit, she's going to look at you like you're weak and start losing attraction for you. It doesn't work the other way around. That's what your boys or your coach is for. Okay. So you always have to have give off the perception that you're unshakable, that nothing bothers you. Everything's cool. You got everything handled. Okay. Frame is everything. And you need to have that mental frame, right? You need to believe it yourself. Like, I got everything handled. I set the tone. I lead the relationship. You need to believe that and be congruent with that. Okay. And you can never follow her lead. No, I don't care how much of a boss bitch you think she is, how much of a boss bitch she thinks she is. If you let her she can have influence, but she can't set the tone and lead the relationship. You can't let her get in the driver's seat. What do I mean by that? All right. What do I mean by that? I mean, she's a smart woman. There's no reason why you can't take ideas she has under advisement and occasionally go with her ideas. All right. But You have the ultimate say at the end of the day. You know what's best for your vision of the relationship, and you need to go with your gut with everything. Okay. Now, if she does have a better idea, like I said, there's no reason not to go with her idea just because it's my way or the highway. You know what I mean? It's a captain, executive officer type relationship, but it's not equal partners. It's not equal partners. Like it or not, there's only one driver's seat in the car. Okay. That's your job to drive the car. And if you let her get in the driver's seat, she's never going to feel safe and secure, because now she's got to be the man in the relationship, and she never wanted that. And that builds up a lot of resentment on her part. You got to lead her emotionally. Okay. You don't want to just match her mood. You guide her out of it. All right. Be the emotional rock that she can bounce off of without breaking. We talked a lot about this on Friday. This last Friday, we talked about NLP techniques to make her enter your frame, right? Dark NLP techniques, guys. But if she's in a shitty mood, you can sort of mirror her reaction and basically show empathy with, you understand where she's coming from, but then you need to lead her out of it. All right. And I gave a lot of really good examples of how to do that with embedded commands and stuff like that on Friday's episode. The provider versus lover conflict. This is a big thing that guys fall into, and it's the same thing with comfort does not equal desire, right? But don't just become the good provider, right? Women say they want a guy who's a good provider. So a lot of guys go hard on work. They go hard on their career. They go hard on putting food on the table and making sure that the bills are paid, but they stop being her lover. They stop doing the attractive things that got her hooked in the beginning. They stop going on dates. They let her plan all the dates. Oh, if you want to go out on a date, you plan it. You plan it. It's never something that you're trying to do. You're not trying to seduce her. You're not trying to be playful and flirty all the time. You're just you're all business. I'm a provider. I pay the bills. I make sure that the diapers are stocked. Okay. But if you go that far and that's all you provide is you're a wallet that pays the bills, that's all she'll think of you as. Okay. She may stay in that because it's good comfort. Like, I don't have to pay bills or anything like that, but attraction dies. She starts eyeballing the pool boy. She starts eyeballing the milkman. You see what I'm saying? So you want to be the man who gives both security and you provide that sexual tension, the healthy emotional anticipation and tension that keeps the spark alive. You have to be that guy. That's one of the second book that I have, Psychology Paradigm. I really am trying to break you out of the concept that you're an equal partnership and that she's your best friend, right? I'm just looking for my best friend, my soulmate. Guys are the worst about this sort of thing. And the reason why that's an unhealthy mental model is because you start leaning way more towards the beta provider side of hypergamy when you become her best friend and where she's my partner. And she starts losing that sexual attraction for you. You cannot have that mentality, right? Having the commanding officer, executive officer mentality when it comes to relationship will keep your relationship more engaged, more, you'll keep that attention going. You'll keep that attraction going longer if you do that. Okay. All right, guys, consider getting in Beer Club, beer.comeonmanpod.com. It's a good group of men. They're all in there leveling up, trying to get better in all areas of their lives. They're in there swapping notes. They're sharing funny memes and videos and stuff like that, but mostly they're in there swapping notes. And if I guarantee there's a guy in the group that's been through where you're going through right now. And that's one of the best parts about it is it's a good group of guys that are studying all this stuff, right? You could go to your church group. You could go to the bar. You could talk to those guys about your relationship problems, but not a single one of them has studied it as much as the guys in Beer Club, right? These guys are living this shit. and they are applying it every day, and they're the perfect place to bounce ideas off of. All right. And it's only $10 a month. Right. And then we also have a monthly hangout where we get together and talk about guy shit on a call. It's very casual environment, but this is the perfect place to bring your struggles, because women don't care about that kind of thing. Right. And then, guys, if you want one-on-one help, I do have that available if you go to call.fixdeadbedrooms.com. But what I would strongly recommend you do is get my book, Get Her to Fuck You Again, read this first, get the workbook, start applying the stuff from the workbook, and start taking some action in your own marriage yourself. Then call me. Okay. Because what a lot of guys are doing is they're calling me and they think that this is a magic bullet, that this is the quick fix, this is the easy button. None of it's fucking easy. None of it's easy. It's going to take a lot of work. And if you prove to me that you're willing to do some fucking work by reading the book, at least, you're going to get much better results. You're going to get much better results because I know you're in it to win it. But a lot of guys will call because they're looking for an easy solution. Your easy solution is what got you in your current situation in the first place. Okay. So read the book first, put some effort in, try to learn it. If you still need help, book a call with me. Okay. Go to call.fixdeadbedrooms.com. All right. Might be a short episode today. We'll see. We'll see. Let's talk about long-term dominance, right? How to keep the edge going in a long-term relationship. Complacency is the silent killer. Complacency is the silent killer. Okay. Once you stop improving, leading, and challenging her worldview, her interest starts to rot. Now, this is the biggest thing I've seen in my years of studying this stuff is most guys will read the books, they'll hire a coach, they will do the work just long enough to start seeing some results. And then what happens when they start seeing results? They think, oh, I fixed it. I fixed the problem. I don't have to do anything anymore. And they fall back on old programming. I saw it for years when I was in the original 3% man group. Guys would leave the group after a year or so and be gone for a year or two and then be back in the group because the relationship that they got into, they were just studying the material just long enough to get through the dating circuit and find a girl and get into a relationship. And then they fell back on old programming, got beta-tized, she left, and then they're back in their group studying the book again. And I'm like, why did you stop studying it? Right? Ryan Stone talks about it in Dread. He talks about a woman having hysterical bonding, right? Showing signs of hysterical bonding. And what that looks like is sometimes, it's not always the same thing, but one of the things that Ryan said in the book is like, she'll go out and cheat. She'll cheat on you. She's lost all respect and attraction for you, and she's looking for a better option. So she'll go out and cheat. And when things don't work out with the guy she's cheating on you with, now she realizes, oh shit, I might have messed up. And she comes back and starts banging your brains out like crazy, trying to fix things before she, so you don't find out, for one, and two, just, to try to rekindle things. And so most guys are like, oh, sweet, she's banging my brains out again. I guess I'm not in the dead bedroom situation anymore. I guess I'll stop doing the work, right? And you fall back on the old programming, and then you start doing the same unattractive shit you've been doing in the first place that made her stop being attracted to you, right? So complacency is the silent killer. That means you can never stop. The work never stops. At the end of when guys are working with me, even if they're seeing good results, I tell them, like, the work doesn't stop here. You're not done, right? Here's some more material. Keep working on this. Have a monthly check-in for yourself. You always want to keep this stuff on the forefront so you never fall back on that old programming, because you can't undo 20, 30, 40 years of programming in a 12-week session. You fucking can't. You can't do it in a year. You fucking can't, okay? The work never stops. You always have to keep doing this stuff. Another thing that Ryan Stone often says too is get what you need from the space and get out. What I say is get what you need from the space, and then once you start seeing results, at least revisit the stuff once a year. Okay. You don't have to keep watching the podcast. You don't have to keep watching the videos unless you enjoy them, more than happy to have you guys here. But you have to at least read the books once a year, listen to it on audio while you're at the gym once a year. Just keep it on the forefront so you never fall back on that old programming. Okay. You want to maintain mystery in a committed relationship. Well, how do you do that if you're living together? You're living together. You guys see each other on a daily basis. How do you do that? Right. Well, don't overshare. Don't overshare. Stop telling her about everything in your day. When she asks how your day was, tell her it was fine. That was fine. And then turn around and ask her about her day. Always use the 80-20 rule in conversations, just like you did when you're on the dating circuit. Use the 80-20 rule. Try to get her to do 80% of the talking. Now, in my relationship with Nurse Chick, she doesn't talk. So I have to do all the talking, or else there would be no talking. We'd just be sitting around in silence all the time, you see. Most people look at that like, really? She really is the perfect woman. She doesn't talk at all. I know, it's great. It's great, guys. But in a normal relationship, not a perfect one like mine, women love to talk, right? So you gotta let them. And the less you share, the more she has to dig it out of you, the more invested she's going to feel. You understand? So don't overshare, right? Keep some sacred space. Let her wonder what's going on in your mind sometimes. Okay. Let her wonder about you. Is everything okay? Have her come to you. Is everything okay with us? Right. Let her have a little bit of that insecurity, right? You want to also create some artificial space in your relationship. If you're together all the time, you got to understand that attraction dies in close proximity, and attraction dies in close proximity and it grows in space. So that means that you now, like most guys, once they get into that long-term relationship, especially once they move a girl in, they stop hanging out with their friends. They stop doing their hobbies. All they do is occupy her time. And you guys end up being fused together. You stop having the separate personalities that attracted you to each other. You start merging personalities. You become the same person. It becomes boring and predictable, and attraction fades. So you got to keep that separation there a little bit, right? That means weekly hang out with the boys. That beer club's great for this. It's virtual, right? You hang out with the boys, right? You go out for a weekly bowling night. I like saying that a lot. You go out, you join a club, right? Join like the Elks Lodge or something, right? Go hang out at the Elks Lodge once a week or whatever. Go to a meeting. Just anything to get out of the house and build up your social circle again, just so that you have some separate time and have some time for each other to miss each other. Okay. Got to have her wondering, like, what's he up to? What's he up to really on a Thursday night? What do they talk about at those lodge meetings? Used to be a really common practice. It's not as common anymore, Sexual polarity must be cultivated. Okay. Nice guy energy kills bedroom spark. Masculine sexual leadership creates polarity. Tease, lead, and dominate with warmth. When we talk about sexual polarity, what we're talking about is masculine and feminine energies, right? But you've got to look at the traits that are widely considered masculine traits, right? That dominance, leadership, decisiveness, assertiveness, directness, all that kind of stuff. You've got to really embody those traits, be the man in the relationship, okay? Because if you do that, if you are the man in the relationship, you set boundaries, you make the plans, you do all the stuff I talk about a lot, it allows her to relax into her feminine. It allows her to just follow your lead. And that's what she really wants to do at the end of the day. She wants to join your lifestyle, right? But most of you guys stop doing that kind of stuff. You start being overly accommodating. You start putting her on a pedestal. You start going hard on the beta comfort stuff. You start dancing around her, trying to make her happy all the time. The happy wife, happy life. You end up making her have to get into her masculine in order to lead this relationship, because nature abhors a vacuum. If there's no one leading the relationship, she feels like she has to do it. So she steps into that role and then she resents you for it. Okay. Stop. Take that back. Start leading again. Start setting the tone. Be the man in the relationship. Let her relax and be the woman in the relationship. And she's going to be happy as a clam. It's the closest thing you're ever going to get to a happy wife. Her needs will change. Your leadership shouldn't. Okay. She will evolve. Her moods, interests, and values might shift. Your job is to remain steady, dominant, the steady, dominant center that gives her space to be feminine. Right. This same thing goes with her emotions. Like women are like the weather, right? They're constantly changing. They reserve the right to change their mind at any given moment. They're always in flux. Feminine energy is fucking chaos, right? It's chaos. And that's her natural state. And in order for you to be able to weather that, you have to be the calm in the storm, right? You are the eye in the center of the hurricane. Calm, steady, relaxed. Right? Doesn't matter what she's doing, doesn't matter what she's saying, doesn't matter what she's feeling. You're always the same steady guy. It's hard to keep up. It's hard to keep up, right? You know, you're going to have tough days too. You're going to have tough days too, but that's what the boys are for, right? That's what the boys are for. That's what your coach is for. Your girl's not your emotional rock, okay? That's your job. That's your job. All right. Outcomes you don't chase, you attract. The moment you chase her needs and moods for validation, you're no longer the prize, right? So you want to embody value instead of seeking her approval. This is a big thing for guys, man. Guys, a lot of guys these days, especially nice guys, they're always wanting that reassurance. A lot of guys are insecure. They want to make sure that they're trying to make her happy. So they're constantly like checking in. Hey, are you happy? Are you happy with our relationship? Do you still love me? All this kind of stuff. You can't be seeking that kind of validation in the relationship. It's going to give her the ick. It's going to give her the ick at the end of the day. If you have to have the frame that you are doing everything okay. You don't need her validation. And the thing is, you don't really need it if you are paying attention, which is what she wants anyway, right? Going back to the truth about women's needs in a relationship, she wants you to get it. Women don't want to have to explain to you how to be a man. They expect you to just get it. And if you are asking, hey, what do you want, honey? Am I providing what you need? And all this kind of stuff. All you're doing is sub-communicating to her that you don't get it. You don't know what she needs. You are not secure in your own masculine energy to provide what she needs. You just don't get it. You don't get it. And she immediately is like, well, if he doesn't get it, I don't want to tell him. I shouldn't have to tell him how to be a man. I'd rather find a man that already knows how to be a man. Right? That's why, a lot of guys are like, why doesn't she just tell us what she wants? Right? Why can't she just communicate that? Right? She doesn't want to have to. And if she feels like she has to communicate that to you, it means you don't get it and that you're not the right guy for her. It's as simple as that. It doesn't make any logical sense to men, but it makes perfect emotional sense to her. You understand? So how's the guy supposed to know? Well, we have lots of materials out there for you. We got lots of materials that explain to you what it is that they respond to. So all you have to do is pay attention. You just got to keep an eye on her attraction levels. In How to Be a 3% Man, Corey talks about this. He learned it from a guy named Doc Love. Doc Love had a book called The System. And they talk about an attraction scale, right? Being able to watch your girl's actions, how she's acting to your, to the jokes that you're saying. Is she responding like playfully with your flirtatious activities? Like you smack her on the ass. Does she act like annoyed by that? Or does she, turn around and want to make out with you when you do that? Right? Those types of things are things that you need to keep an eye on. Okay. And then you know how to act, how to adjust what you need to do based on her actions. You never have to ask her how she feels in a relationship. Just watch her. You never want to listen to what women say anyway. You just want to pay attention to what they're doing. Pay attention to their actions. Their actions will never lie to you. A lot of guys will complain about mixed messages. Oh, well, she says this, but then she does this. And I'm completely confused here and I don't get it. Well, stop asking her, stop talking to her about it. Start watching what she's doing. Her actions will never lie to you. Okay. If you come home from work and she runs up and jumps into your arms and first thing she wants to do is kiss you, you're doing pretty good. You're doing all right. Okay. You don't need to chase that validation. She's giving it to you freely. All right. But if she's not doing that, like, and she's acting cold and you have to sort of pay attention to that. You're like, okay, something's off. I need to like reevaluate what's been going on lately in the relationship. You don't even have to fucking talk to her about it. You know, you want to reclaim the edge you had at the start. Okay. For most people, when they first get together, like things are hot and heavy, right? They call it the honeymoon phase of a relationship. Like things are really good at first. You guys are both into the newness of each other, right? And, but typically you guys are doing fun things together. You're going on dates. You're being flirty. You're trying to seduce her. You're doing all this kind of stuff, right? And then you guys fall into complacency. You stop doing all that kind of stuff. You know, you start failing her tests. You start getting beta-tized. That's what I talk about in the free ebook, She's Made You Weak, right? Like the 5 stages of the beta-tization process. Starts with you failing her tests and then her trying to get you to open up and be more vulnerable. Then she uses that shit against you. She puts you to work. She starts emasculating you. And basically she gets to a point where she's manipulated you so much that she has no more respect for you. And now she's looking for another guy, right? Well, you have to get yourself back to the beginning of that beta-tization process. A lot of it was you have to get back to being the edgy guy that you were when you first met her, right? So you got to start working out again, right? You want to start working on your physical attractiveness again. You want to remember what your mission is. What's your purpose in life? What are you passionate about? Because what a lot of guys do is they're usually passionate about something. They're working towards something. They're building something. And that's what makes you attractive. And then you get a girl and now you make her your world. You make her the center of your world. You make your family the center of your world. And you stop focusing on your mission. And you just fall into a state of just going with the flow. I'm paying the bills. You know, everything's good, but at least my family's good. And my family's number one and all this kind of stuff. And you stop being that attractive guy, right? You don't have that magnetism that pulled them into you. Okay. You got to be that man again. You got to get back to being that guy. Okay. You got to start focusing on your mission. Put yourself first. Sounds terrible, but you got to be your own mental point of origin. Okay. If you become your own mental point of origin and you start focusing on your mission again, all right, everyone else around you tends to benefit when you do that. It's fascinating. It's fascinating how that works. Shorter than usual episode, but let me leave you with this, okay? Women don't leave because of what you didn't give. They leave because of who you stop being. Lead the relationship or be prepared to lose it, okay? All right. Guys, tune into the podcast on Wednesday. We're going to be talking about the power of shutting the fuck up and how silence is actually more powerful than words. All right. So that should be a fun episode. A lot of guys over-explain things. They use too many words, and you got to understand that less is more pretty much in all areas of your life. We have a couple of super chats here. We've got Erkin with 10 sec, and that's Swedish, whatever. I'll never remember Erkin. I'll never remember, but it's definitely, it's Viking money. It's Viking money. And he said $10 super chat. He's not a beer club brother, but it's a $10 super chat. So I'm going to give him the bouncing tatas.
Thank you for the super chats. Boobies bouncing, can't stop that. From the east to the west, you are the best. Keep those chats coming in, let's do it all again.
All right. And then Kamal sent €5.99. Dating is the easy part. Keeping the relationship fresh is hard. Do the work, guys. Buy the book as well. Definitely do that. He's a Beer Club brother. He's also one of my OG 3% brothers. I'm going to play him the Shaking Booty video. And we're really going to get demonetized here.
Super chat, we see you there. Shake it, dance without a care. Send it love from everywhere. Groovy beats we all can share. Your support is so divine. Moving closer to the line. Thank you, you're the best. Party on, we never rest.
Swedish krona. I'll never remember. I don't know why. I'll never remember. So let's see here. Zachary on Facebook wants to know, how do I get in? I'm assuming you mean Beer Club. I'll drop a link to it here in the chat. It's beer.comeonmanpod.com. You can join that way. It's a Telegram community. And then we also have our monthly calls on Telegram as well. And then Erkin wants to know, what was Luca again? Well, if you got the book, you would understand it, Erkin. It stands for Listen, Understand, Clarity, Action. It's a communication model that I learned from Paul Benjamin from Apex Mindset. It's pretty phenomenal way of communicating with your wife from a position of leadership. All right, guys, that's all we got. Hopefully you guys found this episode interesting. We had a lot of live viewers today. There should be at least 55 likes on this video. All right. If you guys haven't smashed like yet, what are you doing with your lives? All right. Likes are free, by the way. Likes are free. Speaking of which, hit that like button, subscribe, and also hit those notifications. I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday without fail. Thanks for everyone that sounded off in the comments today. I appreciate you. Thanks for the super chats, guys. That supports the show. Follow me on social media. The links are in the description. Get on the email list. Get the free ebook, She's Made You Weak. If you go to list.comeonmanpod.com, it's a whole pack of stuff. A whole bunch of freebies. I want you guys to have lots of freebies. You get free stickers if you want them. If you don't, just put don't want stickers in the address field. You get the ebook, She's Made You Weak. You also get a free chapter of my first book, Everything I Wish I Knew When I Was 18. You get the first 3 chapters of The Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence Psychology Paradigm. What else? You get, if you guys are on the dating circuit, you get 20 dating app openers as well. And I think that's all I got in there right now. But there's a lot of free stuff in there. So check that out. List.comeonmanpod.com. Do get my books. All 3 of them are available at books.comeonmanpod.com. They're all available on Audible as well. Okay. Just do a search for Paul Bauer on Audible and you'll find them. Get in Beer Club, beer.comeonmanpod.com. It's only $10 a month. It's a good group of guys. We're all in there swapping notes, leveling up and getting better with women. And then, guys, if you want to work with me, book a free call. Go to call.fixeddeadbedrooms.com. But first, read the book. Read the book before you call me. That way you know what I'm all about. It'll answer most of your questions. If you actually start applying this stuff and start seeing results, you probably don't even need to make a call, okay? But if you're following the material in the book and you're like, I don't know, my relationship's a little more nuanced than this, I need more one-on-one direction, that's a good time to book a call with me, okay? Go to call.fixeddeadbedrooms.com. All right, guys, that's all we got. We will see you guys on, where's this at? We'll see you guys on Wednesday.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. New full episodes served hot every Monday morning on your favorite podcast platform of choice. So subscribe now. Follow Paul on social media. The links are in the description. Now, go out and get it.